For the love of
Games!
The modern first-person shooter. In the era of a game's life cycle being reliant on how long people can stay hooked on its multiplayer, and with DLC maps, weapon packs, and more all at stake, single-player campaigns are often an afterthought, if they're given any attention at all. I'm looking at you, Titanfall. When EA announced their newest entry into the Battlefield series, it was met with a resounding, okay. Battlefield 4 stumbled onto the Xbox One like a drunk baby giraffe taking its first steps, except it wasn't as hilarious. People were frustrated, and despite the fact that EA was seemingly changing up the formula when they announced their cops versus robbers shooter Battlefield Hardline, fans weren't exactly clamoring to get their hands on Dead Horse Speeder 7. While the beta helped warm people up to the multiplayer, I still wasn't overly optimistic Battlefield Hardline would be worth my money. I prefer to play single player more than most FPS fans, which is why I felt less inclined to sink $70 into an FPS title lately. It seems that fans like myself are given second-class seating, while online players get the royal treatment. I expected Hardline to either ignore the campaign entirely, or for it to be a formulaic training ground to get people ready for the multiplayer. Surprisingly, I was wrong. Hardline won't win any video game awards for its groundbreaking story, but the developers instead made some bold decisions with its presentation that go a long way. Primarily, they appeal to the idea that many people play first-person shooters so they can feel like they're part of an action movie or buddy cop TV show, and they pull it off excellently. Your first clue that this is the case is that chapters in the single-player campaign are called episodes, instead of chapters or something else. Beginning with the prologue, you play through the story of Nicholas Mendoza, a cop who you know ends up a convict, but are not quite sure how. After going back 3 years to Nick's time still as a police officer, you're quickly introduced to the colorful cast of characters joining you on the story. How? A 1980s title sequence, of course.
Everywhere you look, everywhere there's a heart, a hand to hold on to.
Seriously, this game adds some of the smallest touches that go a really long way. When you rejoin a game after quitting, you get a
previously on Hardline.
Planes go up, drugs come down.
Whose operation is this?
some shitbird named Remy Nelts.
Nelts, put the gun down!
getting tired of the odd respect for the police every bad guy has? Before you quit, EA wants you to know exactly what kind of law-abiding action you'll be missing out on.
Next time on Hardline.
You do trust Dawes, right?
Your partner, she's in trouble. That means we help her. Drop the goddamn gun!
Like I said, the storyline is not going to bring you to tears. There's a lot of drugs involved, and some of the guys in charge are actually nefarious, which, now that I think about it, probably mimics what EA's boardroom looked like when they decided to premiere their new citizen shooter simulator during the Ferguson riots. Either way, it's not the plot that is going to suck you into Hardline, but rather the subtle choices the developers make to create a police drama-esque feel. Carefully walking the line between narrative scenes and action, Battlefield keeps you engaged while not ODing on gunfire. In fact, if you play your cards right, you can go the majority of the game without firing a single round. Not that you would, of course. See, Battlefield Hardline's campaign seems more like something you would binge watch on Netflix than something that serves as cheap training ground to get you into multiplayer. It seems like the producers actually had the same idea. Check out the screen you get whenever you complete a mission. While the campaign isn't perfect, and there are certainly frustrations there if you look for them, Battlefield Hardline's developers put effort and creativity into their single-player campaign, and, as a result, it stands out from the pack. For more on Battlefield, as well as articles and videos on the Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Wii U, head on over to pixelattack.net and follow us on twitch.tv/pixelattack.